But what are some of the trends and kind of the up and coming things that you see in the field?
Yeah, okay, so a number of trends I think that are important to see that we'll see happening. One is personalizing learning. I think we're very quickly seeing, that's K-12 and higher ed, very quickly seeing schools transition from a model where we pack 30 students into a classroom and teach them all the same thing, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? Like, how are we okay, knowing what we know about agency, how are we okay with teaching everybody the same thing? The least equitable thing we can do is teach everybody the same thing. They have different needs, they have different passions, they have different interests, they have different approaches that work well for them. And so thinking that we can perpetuate that type of education is not helpful. And so that's one of the trends that we're seeing, is really looking at using technology to help differentiate and personalize learning in new and exciting ways. So there's one thing. Another trend I think that's really important is understanding how open resources is going to change the way we look at digital content. Schools are moving away from purchasing commercial textbooks. And so understanding what does it look like and how do you create and modify. I think there's a lot less creation and more modifying existing open resources to build better stuff. And so that's a trend that's key. And then I think if I had to pick one more, I would say it's this idea of learning positioning systems. And so one of the things that's really, really powerful, I think you can change behavior faster by visualizing behavior than any other way, right? So you think of a Fitbit as an example we use sometimes, right? Fitbit, I look at my Fitbit and I know that I've been, sitting at my desk all day and haven't had any exercise. I know that. I've been with myself all day. I know that I haven't moved. But somehow when I see it on the screen, I'm like, I better get up and go exercise. It's the same thing with learning. And so if you can actually visualize how students are progressing and show them the trajectory that they're on and say, if you continue at this rate, this is where you're going to end up. If you're okay with that, awesome. If not, here are your opportunities to change that. And so this idea of learning positioning systems, right? Like we have a GPS in a car. Where's our learning positioning system that says, here's where I am, here's where I want to go, and if I get off track, here's the ways to get back on, and here's ways to sort of tap into other tools and resources to help me meet the goals that I have. So I think that's really, really important. We'll see a lot more of that, and people that are, we need very smart, thoughtful designers of tools and systems like that. In general, user experience is a huge problem in education, especially in higher ed. Higher ed has a huge user experience problem. And that's going to come to a head. It is coming to a head. And universities, in order to stay around, in order to remain competitive, are really going to have to start, and they are starting to think about, how do we rethink and redesign the experience of the program for today's students? And smart people need to be involved with making those decisions.
Yeah.